Welcome and namaste. I'm Dina Jensen. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing. And then if you tap on the bell icon, you'll get notified every time I upload new yoga videos. I'd like to share some wrist stretches and strengtheners with you today. Yoga demands so much of our wrists and our hands. We're in weight bearing a lot. We're on hands and knees a lot in many different poses, and we need to prepare the wrists. Eventually in time they do get stronger, but even if you've been practicing yoga for a long time, these different exercises can really help before you get into the more intense weight bearing experiences. So we'll be doing some kneeling poses. You might need a blanket under your knees. And I'm also going to take you over to the wall. So if you happen to have a little section of a wall that's available to you, you could probably do this against some furniture as well. Okay, so the first exercise we'll go through is lying on your back. And this is just a compilation of a variety of different movements that I've learned from so many different teachers. I thought I'd put them together in one place for you. So come onto your back. You could definitely do this seated if you would prefer. We're going to do some non-weight bearing work. So keep your shoulder blades and your scapula on the mat and reach your arms up towards the ceiling, your hands up towards the ceiling. I'd like you to pull the fingers back towards you, back towards the wall behind you. Point the fingers back. Fan the fingers apart from each other so there's a nice spreading of the finger. You don't have to overdo it, but just activation. And reach the heel of the hand up towards the ceiling, but keep the scapula, the shoulder blades on the ground. Okay, so you're not reaching your whole arm out of the socket. The arm is really happy in the socket. And feel some breath. And you should be feeling some energy, some muscular energy. If you would like to add on more in terms of different parts of the body, you could lift up into a low bridge. Don't lift up too high. So squeeze the glutes to lift the hips up. Keep your feet grounded. Feel your hamstrings working. Okay, take a couple of breaths here. And now you can consider turning the fingers to point away from each other, dialing the fingers apart. And even turning the fingers down to face the wall in front of you, the bottom of your mat, if you're on a mat. It's hard, it's pretty hard work. Okay, release the hips down, release the hands just for a second, maybe make some circles with your wrists and hands. So we'll do the same thing again, and now you can add on if you want. Fan out the fingers. It's like table arms. Reaching the fingers back, heel of the hand up, and you can take one hand and start pulling gently, pulling one finger back at a time. Start maybe with the index finger. It doesn't really matter what you start with. And breathe. And go to your next finger. And the fourth finger. Next finger. And then the thumb can reach out to the side, and you can use your finger opposite hands to pull the thumb down. And do the other hand. I'm starting with my index finger, taking at least a breath in and out. And all of these exercises, go to your next finger, all of these exercises can be, you can slide it into different parts and different times in your day. You can put these things, in between when you're working on the computer and you take a break. You could do some of these, keep going to your next fingers. You could do it while you're watching TV, thumb out to the side, gently pull it down, sort of down and out to the side. And then let's go back to the first hand and pull all four fingers back. And I'm using my one hand to pull the four fingers back, and my thumb is out to the side, is kind of active and out to the side. And then same thing on the other side, on the other hand. Arm is straight, thumb is out to the side, fingers are being pulled back. Okay, great. So let's come on up. And we'll do a little bit of strengthening for the wrists in more of a weight bearing. So come to hands and knees, wrists underneath your shoulders, fan out the fingers, point your toes back, and you can go back and forth curling the toes under if you want, but let's just start with toes pointed straight back. Sit the hips back, lift the hands, lift the finger in the palms, keep the heel of the hand is still on the ground, and then come forward and lift the wrists. As the heel of the hand wrist lifts, so does the arms lift, and your whole torso lifts a little bit. Shift back, lift the fingers, spread the fingers, lift the hands, lift the palms, come forward. This is my favorite one. I've heard this called wrist push-ups. I've seen a couple different people do this. And this is, I have added this into just about every practice, every home practice I do. Lifting the wrists, lifting the arms and torso, that all moves as one unit, okay? So it all moves as one unit. And then lifting the hands, fingers in the palms. So you just go back and forth. Sometimes I curl my toes under as I shift back. And then I point my toes and press my hands into my feet into the ground. But if this is new to you, you might not want to, it might be too much. So this is, you really want to focus on your wrists. All right, come back to table pose, and now walk your fingers away from each other, dial the hands out. You're going to stay here and shift from side to side. Feeling just weight bearing, moving the hands around in different orientations. And for some bodies, walking the fingers, keep dialing the fingers back until the fingers point towards the knees work. If not, then you can come up onto your knees and do a similar thing, pointing your fingers down. So shift the hips back, keep the hands on the ground as long as you can, and then peel the palms away from the ground, stretching the fingers. It's all connected, and then come back down, lifting the heel of the hand, palm, feel a stretch through the palm, feel a stretch through your fingers. Come back down, do another one or two of these. And let's have that be your last one. Nice stretch through the fingers, nice stretch through the palms. So we're gonna do something really similar to that we just did, but at the wall, okay? So when I'm at the wall, my fingers, just like when they were on the floor, they're still going to be on the floor, but the roots of my finger pads are going to be right at the baseboard of the wall. And then the palm and the thumb pad, that's all gonna be on the wall. Okay, so if you have a wall, go there. And then put your hands, fingers are on the ground. Move back a little bit. Fingers are on the ground. You're trying to get your root pads of your fingers right at that bottom of the wall where the floor and the wall meet each other. Okay? And my palms are like on the baseboard. And then scooch forward a little bit and start straightening your arms. They're not going to fully straighten, just feel that stretch. So this is not weight bearing, but it's a pretty intense stretch through the fingers and through the palm. And you can kind of go back and forth. I learned this from Laura Heinemann. You can straighten the elbows a little bit and bend them. My arms haven't fully straightened. I don't think I could. And then walk your hands up the wall. So now put your whole hand on the wall and try to straighten the elbows out a little bit. So push into the wall and then release and push and release. Push, release, last time. And release, okay. All right, so let's come on up. Here are a few non-weight bearing things that you can do. These are kind of fun, and just circling your wrists is really nice at any time. Loose fingers or fists can circle. Thumbs can always tuck under the fingers and circle for a different experience. All right, so sitting however is comfortable for you. We'll come into stars. So spread those fingers wide. Claws, claw the air, bending at all the finger joints. And then bird beaks. Stars, claws, bird beaks. Stars, claws, bird beaks. Stars, claws, bird beaks. So a few more. Stars, claws, bird beaks. Again, so easy to do while you're watching TV or taking a break from your computing. We can add on stars, claws, bird beaks, and then make fists. Turn the knuckles down and do some knocking. Stars, claws, bird beaks, fists, turn the knuckles down, knock. Stars, claws, bird beaks, knuckles down, and then circle. Circle one direction, circle in the other. And you might even tuck that thumb into the fingers, do some knocking. Do some circles, one direction, the other direction. And then you can just come back to open, close, open, close. Stars, fists, just back and forth. Breathing naturally, easily through the nose. And then just shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, so just a couple more. Another one strengthener that I've learned recently that's kind of fun is you place your palms together. The fingers are not interlaced, and you squeeze. And then you open up the fingers and then open up to W. And then you change the way that you clap. So it's kind of like a clapping, or you shake your own hand, give a good squeeze, and then open up the fingers wide and then come to W. So I took a workshop recently that the owner of the studio where I teach, Amir, he did some wrist stuff, and this is one of the ones I learned from him. So you squeeze, you open, then you open to W. Squeeze, you spread the fingers, you open. And you're changing the way that you clap each time. So I've started doing this when I'm doing my squats. And that's just a way I'm incorporating that. And then another one that I learned from Amir is interlacing your fingers together, palms together, give that squeeze, and then you spread the fingers and do the same thing. And then interlace it in the other way, squeeze, open, squeeze. Don't forget about really spreading those fingers. Right, so think about alternating each time. You know, again, sitting anywhere where you're have some time and you don't have to think about it too much. Get used to this. This is another thing I'm adding in as I'm squatting. Okay, and then just shake it out. Shake it out. Open and close a few times and just take a moment and see how you feel. Okay, so the last couple things, this one is a little more complicated. Again, I learned this one also from Amir. You cross one forearm over the other, it doesn't matter which one, but you'll just change it on the other side. One forearm on top, you clasp your finger, interlace your fingers. And I think a lot of us used to do this when we were little. You bring the fists in towards the midline and up, and that might be as far as you go, or maybe you can reach the forearms away from you. It looks so weird, I know. And then you come back. And then switch. Let's do the other side, doesn't matter which. Interlace those fingers and see on this side what happens. Bringing the hands in and maybe inside out. One side might be a little easier. And we'll do each side one more time. Crossing, first side, bring it in and out. And then other side. Interlacing, bring it in and away. All right, and shake things out and see how you're feeling. There's so many more things that you could do. So this is just a little taste test. Try it out and see which you like. And I would really encourage you to add something in before you get into your big yoga practice so that your wrists are ready for whatever it is that you're asking of them. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a really nice day.